Young and the Restless spoilers reveal the tensions in Nick's rescue, which could cost him his life for his reckless actions when he falls into the hands of a kidnapper. Life in the Newman family is always full of tensions and challenges, but for Victor Newman, a father who always puts his son's safety first, nothing is more important than protecting Nick from all dangers. One day, during a tense conversation between father and son at the Newman mansion, Victor cannot hide the anxiety rising in his heart. Known for his steadfastness and decisiveness in every situation, but now, for the first time in many years, Victor feels helpless as he watches his son embark on a dangerous adventure to save Sharon, who he still considers a troublesome relationship. Nick Newman, as always, does not hesitate to face the challenge. He is always ready to be a hero, taking action regardless of danger to protect the people he loves, and this time, Sharon is the one he cannot ignore. Victor realizes that his concern is not simply about material protection, but also about Nick becoming more and more attracted to Sharon. This makes Victor feel insecure, because he cannot help but notice that Nick's feelings for Sharon are getting deeper, something he cannot easily accept. Do Nick's feelings for Sharon worry Victor? During the conversation between Victor and Nick, he cannot help but mention his son's feelings. He sees clear signs that Nick is not only playing the hero, but is also developing romantic feelings for Sharon. "Son," Victor began in a calm but not without concern, "you must understand that saving Sharon is important, but you cannot let your heart be blinded by the dangers that can come from unclear relationships." Victor could not help but feel worried that Nick would be drawn into an emotional spiral with no way out. Victor, who had always had a sharp eye for emotions and family relationships, could not stop thinking about the possible consequences if Nick continued to delve deeper into a relationship with Sharon. The fact that Nick began to think about the possibility of a romantic relationship with Sharon made Victor even more worried. Could Sharon, who had a complicated past with many failed relationships, bring Nick happiness, or would she just be a relationship that would cause him more pain? This made Victor fear that his son would suffer the same emotional trauma as what had happened in the past. A dangerous situation and a warning from Victor. Victor is not only worried about Nick and Sharon's relationship, but also about the dangers his son may face in his search for Sharon. The search is getting more intense, as both Phyllis and Sharon go missing under complicated circumstances. The fragile clues Nick finds seem to bring him closer to his goal, but Victor is constantly worried that his son may be going too far on this journey without thinking about the consequences. "Nick," Victor continues, "you must understand that finding Sharon is important, but so is your safety. Every step, every decision, can lead to dangers you cannot foresee." Victor advises his son not only with words, but also with a worried heart. He is aware that this search may lead Nick into dangers that he cannot protect himself from. Blinded by love, Nick may let his guard down and become a target for bad guys. Another concern, Sharon in Victor's mind. Sharon, though only part of the search, will always hold a special place in Victor's heart. He understands that Sharon is not someone who gives up easily, but he cannot deny that her past mistakes have affected the Newman family. Although Victor may feel angry at Sharon for her past decisions, he cannot deny that she will always be a part of the Newman family's lives. Victor worries that saving Sharon may lead Nick back into a relationship that has no end in sight. Sharon will always be present in Victor's mind, reminding him of the past and the potential risks of pursuing love without seeing reality. Victor's concern for Nick becomes clearer as he realizes that his son is facing a difficult decision. Will Nick continue to pursue this journey without thinking through the consequences, or will he listen to his father's warning? Victor still hopes that, no matter how strong Nick's feelings for Sharon are, he will not forget that his life and his family are more important than any other relationship. Ultimately, this conversation will be a major turning point in the relationship between Victor and Nick. It is not only a wake-up call for safety, but also a reminder of the love and sacrifice in the Newman family. Will Nick be strong enough to face the challenges that the search brings, or will he let his emotions rule his every decision? Captive and a race against time, Sharon and Phyllis face a dangerous situation in an extremely tense and complicated situation. Sharon and Phyllis are imprisoned in a dark room, without a single ray of hope. Neither of them knows who is behind the kidnapping, only a vague suspicion that Ian, an old enemy of theirs, may be the culprit. However, suspicions are not enough to confirm anything, and no one but Sharon and Phyllis can solve this situation on their own. It is certain that the kidnapper is watching their every move, not only wanting revenge, but also having a cruel game waiting for them. Initial resistance and tension between the two women. Although both Sharon and Phyllis understand that they need to cooperate if they want to survive, their different personalities make this not simple. Sharon, with her calm and rational nature, tries to keep her composure and find potential ways out, while Phyllis, who is always impulsive and difficult to control, cannot keep her composure for long. Both are intelligent and sharp, but the conflicts between their approaches to situations are inevitable. Whenever Phyllis feels dissatisfied with Sharon's approach, she will not hesitate to express her dissatisfaction. While Sharon wants to calmly analyze the steps and look for a clear plan, Phyllis tends to act immediately, sometimes even strongly protesting, which makes things more confusing. Phyllis's insistence on doing things her own way not only puts a strain on her relationship with Sharon, but also makes it difficult for them to make important decisions. The death game and the cruel conditions. The kidnapper, or at least the person who organized it, has prepared a dangerous game of challenges for Sharon and Phyllis. The demands of the game become increasingly unpleasant and harsh, and there is only one way for them to escape: by completing the challenges set by the kidnapper. But what makes things even more complicated is the reward of the game. If Sharon and Phyllis succeed, they will be freed, but if they fail, the price may be their lives. At this point, Phyllis cannot hold her patience any longer. She feels that things are too harsh, and will not allow herself to be manipulated by such a cruel game. Phyllis begins to show her stubbornness, objecting to Sharon's decisions about how the game should be conducted. She does not want to be controlled and feels that she can do better if she does not have to follow Sharon's instructions. Sharon, meanwhile, tries to stay calm and emphasizes that if they don't follow the rules, they won't have a chance to survive. However, the disagreements between the two women escalate, and Phyllis constantly criticizes Sharon for being too weak and indecisive. This conflict leads to a heated argument, making the situation more tense than ever. Self-rescue ability. Sharon and Phyllis use their intelligence, no matter how dangerous the situation is. Sharon and Phyllis are both strong, intelligent, and experienced women. Sharon has been through a lot in her life and knows how to think logically in emergency situations. She realizes that they can't rely on luck alone to get out of this situation. Every step must be carefully calculated. Phyllis, with her cunning and quick thinking, is not to be outdone. She realized that this was a game they could win if they worked together. Even though she could be impulsive and not easily controlled, Phyllis understood that this was the only time they could show their unity and intelligence. Both women begin to use their special abilities to solve the challenges. Sharon uses her sharp analytical skills to find clues, while Phyllis uses her courage and determination to deal with unexpected situations. They gradually realize that if they do not coordinate well with each other, their chances of survival will become even slimmer. A race against time. The kidnapper and the mystery. During the tense conversation between Sharon and Phyllis, the mystery of who is behind the kidnapping becomes more complicated. Although both suspect Ian of being the organizer, there is not enough evidence to prove this. The kidnapper always keeps his identity a secret, and the challenges Sharon and Phyllis face make them feel like they are falling into a trap. Can they find out who is behind this plot before it is too late? Both feel an invisible pressure from the person behind them, who insists that they must comply with the requirements in order to receive the reward, freedom. The reward becomes something that Sharon and Phyllis cannot help but think about, but they know that the price to pay may be a great sacrifice. Will they have enough intelligence and strength to escape this prison, or will the kidnapper continue to hold them in a game with no way out? Ending. The existence of Sharon and Phyllis. It is in their darkest moments, when all seems lost, that Sharon and Phyllis will have to face the truth about themselves and about their enemy. Can they overcome their internal conflicts to cooperate and escape this situation? Or will Phyllis's stubbornness and determination lead to bad decisions, costing them dearly? The battle between life and death, intelligence and violence, cooperation and conflict, all will decide the fate of Sharon and Phyllis in a game with only one goal: survival. Sharon and Phyllis's lives have never been peaceful. Internal conflicts, emotional conflicts, and unspeakable secrets have always been an indispensable part of their journey. But no one could have expected that one day, both of them would have to face a harsh life and death challenge, where life and death depend not only on their survival skills, but also on how they face each other. Kidnapping and threatened lives. Sharon and Phyllis are kidnapped under mysterious circumstances, and the people behind this plot may just want to cause chaos. But behind it all, there seems to be a bigger reason that no one knows. Are they being held for personal reasons, or are they just pawns in a bigger game? Everything is still unclear, but Sharon and Phyllis know one thing for sure: they must do everything they can to get out of this situation. This begins with Chance discovering an important clue: Sharon's phone. In the last call Sharon made before being imprisoned, Chance noticed a trace that could help him locate her and Phyllis. This brings a ray of hope, but it is also a double-edged sword, as Chance's presence can bring both salvation and danger. Sharon and Phyllis's fight for survival under the pressure of life and death. Sharon and Phyllis begin to face deep conflicts in their relationship. Although both have sharp minds, their personalities and perspectives on life are completely different. Sharon, with her cautious and patient nature, always looked for logical and safe solutions, while Phyllis, with her hot-tempered and impulsive personality, often acted on her emotions and frustrations. During their days in captivity, they inevitably had moments when the tension reached its peak. There were times when Sharon began to doubt her sanity. Long nights in the dark, without adequate food or water, combined with extreme anxiety, left her feeling like she was about to collapse. Will Sharon be able to keep her spirits up and find a way out of this situation? While Sharon was struggling with negative thoughts, Phyllis was the one who provided her with a new source of motivation. Although Phyllis could be a source of stress at times, in this situation, her presence was an important factor in keeping Sharon's spirits up. Phyllis was not afraid to blame Sharon when things went wrong, and Sharon was no less resistant. However, no matter how much they criticized each other, the truth was that they needed each other to survive. It can be said that during their captivity, Phyllis and Sharon constantly struggled with feelings of betrayal. Whenever one of them came up with a plan that failed, they would immediately blame the other. Phyllis might think that Sharon had created a trap for her to endure this situation, while Sharon would think that Phyllis was the one who made things more difficult. This situation forced them to face not only the enemy but also themselves and each other. The crucial moment, realizing they need each other to survive as things seem to be going downhill, Sharon and Phyllis come to a crucial realization: they can't do this alone. While their differences never go away, the realization that they can only overcome this challenge together will be a crucial turning point in their journey to survival. In those breathless moments, when time seems to run out, Phyllis and Sharon begin to see each other differently. They both know that they are strong women, and that unity is the only way out of this situation. They are no longer simply blaming each other. Instead, they become indispensable partners in confronting their enemies and finding a way to survive. The end, redemption, and the painful reality. With Chance's help, the search becomes more intense. The clues from Sharon's phone eventually lead to a major breakthrough in their rescue. But just as they are about to reach their goal, Sharon and Phyllis are confronted with a painful truth: the person behind this kidnapping is not simple, and they are just part of a much more complex game. As rescue approaches, both women know that their lives will never be the same. These experiences will forever change them, not only in the way they view life, but also in their relationship. Can Phyllis and Sharon return to normalcy after these dark days? And will their relationship become stronger, or will they continue to be mired in unresolved conflicts? Conclusion: the race against time and the final unity. Although Sharon and Phyllis's lives are full of challenges and stress, their story is more than just a race against time to survive. It is also a lesson in facing ourselves and those around us. In their darkest moments, they realize that to get through it all, they cannot do without each other.